Hey YouTube, Mucklick here, and continuing my tour of all the offensive supports in Guild Wars 2 to see what it's like from someone with a, basically a fresh set of eyes on this stuff. The next one in line is the quickness providing DPS Scrapper, whose job is to give their group quickness and then do as much damage as possible outside of that. Now, I probably know the most about Engineer of any class as far as my knowledge goes, second only to Ranger because I played Engineer for quite some time. I have done Heal Scrapper for over a year before and a lot of mech, so this isn't too different from what I have done before. Now I pulled up on Snowcrows, they had a Power Quickness Scrapper guide, and I just copied this for the most part. They did almost all Berserkers with a few pieces of Dragons. I tried to just pretend I was a player, with newer gear, and I just did full Berserkers. I did Relic of the Fireworks, I was using that, Runes of the Scholar, a Hammer with Sigils of Force and Impact, and because I'm a total cheapskate on most of the fights, I just used the free birthday cake buff. I didn't use any special buffs or enhancements or anything like that. The build is this one here. This is the build that we used. Now, according to their build over here, you want to use Grenade Kit. However, I changed out of that, and here's the reason why. The way that this DPS provides quickness is by doing a leap combo or a blast combo, okay? Now, when you have lots of ways of providing fields, but in them, if you do Rocket Charge is the 3 of the hammer. It does 3 little hops, but 2 of them count as leap finishers. So that does a leap combo 2 times if you're in a field, okay? So if you go up to a target and you do a field and then do it, and it goes bonk, 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 you provide quickness to everyone around you 2 times. If you have a field out, and I'm just gonna make another random field here, and then you do Throw Mine, that's a blast combo. Okay, so that's another one, all right? So that means that this is 2 combos, this is 1 combo, and then the last one they would do is Function Gyro, which makes a lightning field and then instantly blasts it, and it's a combo. So that's a total of 4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. However, anyone who knows me knows I hate when you give me an awesome utility tool to use and tell me I have to burn it on a rotation so I never have it for when I need it for that awesome utility job. I wanted to save Function Gyro to save lives. For those who don't know Scrapper, Function Gyro will fully revive someone, and it's on a very short cooldown, and it's range. You just send out a little robot, and it goes and saves someone's life and comes back to you, and it's on a 25-second cooldown, or it can revive up to 3 people, but if it revives more than 1 person, the cooldown is increased proportionally. I wanted to have that available to me anytime I could have it. So I took Grenade Kit off of the bar, and I added Blast Gyro. Blast Gyro is both a field and a blast finisher. It makes a field, and then at the end of it, it blasts its own field. So you never have to set it up, and just by hitting it every time it comes up, it was providing the last of the might. I tried doing the rotation without the Function Gyro, like with Grenade Kit, but without using Function Gyro, and I could not keep the quickness up. Maybe that's a me problem. It felt like I just didn't have enough finishers though. By adding this in instead of Grenade Kit, my damage went down slightly. It did go down slightly, but I was able to save Function Gyro and save people's life when they needed it. Really quickly going into the build, I slapped a bunch of conditions on this guy. This is slightly unrealistic. There's a few extra that aren't normally here. I've got the standard boons, except quickness. You're only gonna see my own quickness. So jumping into the fight here, let's see if I can not embarrass myself. We're gonna do this, and 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 do that. Okay, and then we're gonna use the Mortar Kit for a second just to get another field. And do that, and then we're just gonna use the Blast Gyros field for this other stuff. And then Mace 5 and that. And we're looking at 24K right now. And again, that's slightly higher than normal. So that was just to show my competency. So I'm getting around 24K. I'm gonna go over here and just reset combat. Now you get, modified ammunition gives you 2% bonus damage for every condition on the target. So I would say in a realistic fight, if there's a target dummy fight, like a Mersot Overseer, I think I broke 20K. On the other fights that involve running around, I was a little bit lower than that. If we were on like Dagda and we're having to like run out and stuff like that, or if we are just on any fight with phases, like Whisper of Jormag, my damage was dropping under 20K. However, on the target dummy fights, such as Mersot Overseer, I was able to break 20K. And there was a lot of benefits to this build, a lot of benefits. So we've got a DPS, it's providing full uptime of quickness to the party. What else does it bring to the table? Well, one, it has a lot of self-barrier, okay? So I'm gonna hit this again, but this time, I would like you to turn your attention to my barrier, okay? Look at that, all right? I was constantly just covering myself with shields, okay? Bone Skinner tickled, okay? It was fine. Now, I made some mistakes. I went downstate once or twice on that fight due to my own just making a mistake and being in the wrong place at the wrong second. But as far as the pulsing damage in the room, you are healthy a lot. This build constantly gives itself small heals from Big Boomer, which is like a self-regen, but it's not regen, so it stacks with regen. And you constantly give yourself shields as long as you can hit things. So you get a lot of survivability because you're constantly covering your hit point bar with these little shields. That felt great. I had function gyro. As I already mentioned, I found a way to play the build, lowered the damage slightly, but was able to have it anytime I needed it. And anytime someone went down, I would just be like, I got it, sending gyro. Now, in the groups I was in to test, we did strike missions and we did Raid Wing 4. We had a support Scourge in that raid as one of the heal alack people. So they were saving lives a lot, and there was a few times I sent the gyro and it ended up being completely unnecessary. But it's a 25-second cooldown. And you know what? If I send the gyro and it ends up not saving the life, it's still providing quickness. It's just that's not the main reason I'm using it. So that was really cool. So we've got a DPS that provides quickness, has tons of self-sustain through barriers, can save lives every 25 seconds by sending function gyros around the room. Additionally, what else did we have? We had a lot of CC. The 5 is a CC. The 3, if it's in a lightning field, is a CC. The F1 is a CC. The F3 is a CC. The F5 is a CC. Blast Gyro is a CC. Throw Mine is a CC and also removes boons. So that's cool, and it's a lot of damage. You have a ranged option, so anytime, like let's say the boss gets a big red circle and you have to run away, you can turn around and start firing Mortar Kit backwards while you're waiting on your time to go back in. Now, the Mortar Kit does less damage than your hammer, but it's doing damage. It is doing respectable damage. There was many moments where I had to get away from the boss and I just started mortaring until it was time to go back in. So we've got a ranged option, we have a melee option, we've got boon removal, we've got like 15 CCs, we've got self-sustain, a very high amount of self-sustain, we've got the ability to revive nearby people. Our cleave is very high. When we were fighting the polar bear strike, which is of course a very easy strike, during the moments when the two of them were together, my damage was one of the people in the group that skyrocketed because I was not using a projectile build, I was using a cleaving build. So when I was able to hit both of the bears at the same time, my damage shot really, really high. Everything the hammer does, as well as shredder gyro and blast gyro and throw mine, all of it is cleave. And then finally AED. AED is the heal of choice, and I had to learn why this was. The reason is basically because of static shock. For those who don't know, when an engineer picks a skill down here, it also changes their F1 through F5. There as an associated second ability up here. Now AED, static shock, it does damage. It zaps an enemy, and it does some damage, and it does CC. But it also does, it triggers Relic of the Fireworks. Relic of the Fireworks, whenever you use a weapon skill, and for some reason your tool belt counts as weapon skills, whenever you use a weapon skill, your damage is increased by 7%. For 6 seconds. And this counts as a weapon skill. So if you look, when I use the F1 here, bzz, there's Relic of the Fireworks. Additionally, when you use F3, it will proc Relic of the Fireworks 4 times. And if you watch that, the duration on it stayed at maximum and then started ticking down after it was completely done. So if you use your F1, your F3, your the mines, and just don't use them all. Actually, I think the mines didn't. Oh, I just learned something. The mines did not proc the relic. If you use those periodically, also your hammer 5 meets the requirements. Oh, the mines have too short a cooldown. Relic of the Firework only procs on abilities with a 20-second or longer cooldown. That's why, and the mines have a 17-second cooldown. Basically, your with this build, F1, F3, and 5 can all trigger the Relic of the Fireworks and give you some bonus damage. Now, anytime there was a CC bar coming up and I knew it was coming, I would not use the static shock just for that little damage bonus. I would instead just save it and use it to break the break bar. But although we have a lot of CC, it is all being used for damage. However, there's so many. The F1, the F3, the F5, the 5, the 3 if it's in the 5, the blast gyro, and the throw mine. We got 7 CC options. So anytime a break bar was coming up, I always felt like a couple of my CCs were about to come off cooldown, and it was fine. So, like, usually I hate, like, oh, wow, because this is my rotation, I don't have it for when I need it. But there was 7 of them. So I always had something when I needed it. It was fine. Also, our group was struggling a bit with the CC on Samurog. I was frequently getting to do 4 or 5 CC skills on the Sammy break bars before they would break, because I think a few other members of our group were not bringing enough CC skills to that fight, but we got through it. Is this support? This is DPS support. This is the guy that brings quickness to the party and also just does damage outside of that. Also, if you happen to want to play this weird variant that I was doing, Blast Gyro was giving 25 might to the party. It was, let me go over here to the arena console for a second. We're gonna jump skip a few moments. Okay, so we are back, and I have got only Alacrity on my boon bar, okay? Alacrity's from the console, nothing else, all right? And if you'll watch this. And just gonna do some rotations here for a few moments. Okay, and there's 25 might. And at this point, as long as I don't misplay, and I think I just did a combo that wasn't in a fire field, and I should have, let me try to correct that. But this build is capable of keeping up 25 might most of the time, just by doing Blast Gyro, and then doing a Blast combo in the Blast Gyro whenever it comes up. Like, if you just do Blast Gyro and then throw mine in the Gyro every time those come up, you are providing 25 might. So this is a support DPS that if you choose to bring the Blast Gyro, you are providing permanent quickness to your team, 25 permanent might to your team, constant shields on self for about half your hit point bar, so lots of self-survivability, function gyro to save people's lives, lots of CC options, range DPS option, as well as melee option, good cleave, and you have Boon Rip. I remember what the last thing I wanted to say was. Shock Shield. Shock Shield is a block. Having a block in your kit as a DPS is amazing. Because if you already know what things you can block, like, for example, if you are fighting Samurog and he is about to do a shockwave, rather than jump over it, you can just do Shock Shield and walk right through it. And Shock Shield does damage while you're blocking. So you do not have to stop DPS to dodge mechanics if your block is available. And that was very powerful. The one thing I had to be careful of is the time that the block was up was shortened by quickness, suffering from success. So if I had quickness on myself, which when we're in the fight after the first few seconds, I always had quickness on myself, the block duration was actually shorter. And there were times that I put my block up and it wore off too quickly, you know, faster than I was counting on, and then I would get hit by the thing I was trying to block. But in overall, the kit on this support felt amazing. Like, if I was trying to design the perfect group and I was like I was just like the raid leader or whatever, and I'm like, all right, which quickness DPS do I want to bring? And I was looking at like Power Quick Deadeye, which does like a little more damage, or Power Quick Scrapper that does a little bit less damage, but also has way higher self-survivability, has the ability to resurrect people to save them, way more CC. It has Boon Rip, it has ranged options when they get forced out. It just has like all this freaking stuff. I'm like, oh my God, yo, I'll bring the Scrapper. Like, what a friend to have. Let's talk about group compositions. So I feel like this one, to give an example, Alacrity Support Scourge has no real stability for its party. So it pairs very well with Quick DPS Herald, because that is a DPS support that provides quickness, which pairs well with the Alacrity from the Scourge, but it also provides stability to the group, or it can, as long as they bring Dwarf Legend. So they make up for what the Scourge is lacking. This is a DPS that does a great many things that I've said multiple times, but most notably the function gyro can save lives with a very short cooldown. I feel like this would pair very well with Alacrity healers that have poor revive potential. A few that jump to mind is Mechanist, Ham, Heal Alac Mechanist has no revive potential. Heal Alac Spectre has weak revive potential when you compare it to other healers. And Heal Alac Chrono, I know it's got feedback and illusion of life crap. Its revive potential is weaker compared to the other options, okay? You got nothing on Druid or Scourge, all right? I know it's better than nothing, but even this one function gyro is better than what they've got. So I feel like if you've got a Heal-a-Lack mech or Chrono or Spectre, they would pair very well with this DPS that provides quickness and also can easily just snap their fingers and save people's lives when they go down in this radius every 25 seconds. So yeah, very, very cool. I love this. Currently, you know, I'm only 3 episodes in right now. Currently, this is my favorite DPS support. We'll see if that changes as we go through the others, but this was both fun to play and fun to have on the team if I were somebody else and I just had this on the team. Because for every DPS, you know, if you have a raid and it's got 2 quick scrappers in it, that's 2 revives every 25 seconds to save lives if the worst should happen. And yeah, it felt very, very good to have on hand. Also easy to gear. I was doing, again, I mentioned I did full Berserkers and it was fine. If you're really min-maxing, I believe you do full Berserkers minus like 3 pieces you swap out for dragons. No, I'm sorry, 4. Snowcrows recommends 4 pieces of dragons to get crit capped, with the rest is full Berserkers. But if you've got the standard, what I call like the noob-friendly set, because most noobs start with Berserkers, you could play this and do quite well for yourself. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are my thoughts after trying this for a few hours in strikes and raids. Really like it, and on to the next one, and hoping I have as much fun on that one as I did this one.